Today, we'll be exploring the tale of King Adelbern, the last king of Ascalon, wielder of the sword, Magdaer, father of Prince Rurik, and the man whose pride doomed his kingdom. We'll trace his rise from a common-born warrior to crowned king, his rivalry with Prince Rurik, and the clash of father and son. The fateful day of the Foefire, his ghostly wrath in Guild Wars 2 Ascalon Catacombs, and finally how his legacy shaped the destiny of humanity in Tyria. You've found Lantern and Lore, a channel where old stories shine bright again. Settle in and let's uncover the legends together. The rise of a common king. King Adelbern's story began not as royalty but as a soldier. He was not born into nobility. Instead, he rose through strength and determination, a warrior of the Ascalon army. During the Guild Wars, his valor earned him the crown after King Jaden's death. To the people, he was proof that greatness was not limited to noble blood. To the nobility, however, Adelbern always seemed as an outsider, a king of circumstance rather than destiny. Adelbern was no royal by birth. He clawed his way to the throne. That's why he clung so hard to it. From the very start, pride became both his strength and sadly his greatest weakness. Adelbern's design as a common to noble king shares resemblance to Shakespeare's tragic kings, figures who grasp power through fate or war only to fall to their own flaws. Father and son, a king divided. The greatest fracture in Adelbern's reign was his relationship with his only son, Prince Rurik. Adelbern believed that Ascalon could never fall if its people stood firm. Even after the Searing, which devastated his lands, he clung to Ascalon's ruined walls, unwilling to abandon them. To him, flight was cowardice. Rurik saw differently. He led survivors westward, convinced that escape meant survival. Their conflict was more than political, it was personal. Some dialogue between Adelbern and Rurik, starting with King Adelbern, is quote, "Ascalon does not run, we will stand and fight as we always have." Rurik's response, "Father, if you would rather cling to the ashes than lead our people to safety, then I must lead them myself." When Rurik left, Adelbern declared him a traitor. When word came that his son had died at the Frostgate, many whispered that Adelbern wept in private, though his pride forbade him from showing it. Some soldiers revered Adelbern as a symbol of Ascalon's endurance. Others quietly admitted that they had more faith in the prince than the king. The Foefire, Ascalon's doom. Adelbern's pride reached its terrible climax in the year 1090 AE, when the Charr breached Ascalon's walls. Refusing to surrender, Adelbern drew his mighty sword, Magdaer, the twin blade to Rurik's Sohofen. The blade carried divine magic, and when he unleashed its power, it triggered the catastrophic spell known as the Foefire. The Foefire obliterated the invading Charr army, but also annihilated Ascalon itself. Every human soldier was consumed, their souls bound to the ruins as restless ghosts, cursed to relive their hatred and rage for eternity. During the Foefire, Adelbern's quote, "You will not have Ascalon. I will turn it to ash before I let you take it." In his desperate attempt to save Ascalon, Adelbern destroyed it more completely than the Charr ever could. The Charr themselves viewed him with grudging respect, not for his wisdom, but for the sheer fury of his last stand. Both the Searing and the Foefire reshaped Ascalon through fire, but from opposite directions. The Searing was an external cataclysm brought by the Charr through their new alliance with the Titans, reducing Ascalon's fertile plains to ash and forcing the human kingdom into decline. The Foefire, by contrast, was an internal cataclysm King Adelbern's pride and desperation unleashed a ritual that annihilated his own people, binding them as restless ghosts. Seen together, the two events form a tragic mirror. Ascalon was destroyed first by its enemy's wrath, and then by its own king's hand. One was the fire of invasion, the other the fire of pride, and between them Ascalon was doomed to fall twice. Ghost of a King, the Catacombs. Centuries later, Adelbern's wrath still haunts the ruins of Ascalon. In Guild Wars 2, players encounter him in the Ascalon Catacombs dungeon, where his ghost rules over the spectral army created by the Foefire. The once proud king is now consumed by rage, chained to the moment. King Adelbern's sorrow is explained in one of the first scenes, where Ritlock Brimstone, now holding Sohofen, Prince Rurik's sword. King Adelbern says, "I sense Sohofen's presence. Rurik, my son, you've returned." His ghost wields Magdaer with terrifying power, turning fire and steel against those who face him. Stubbornness is shown even after defeat Ascalonian Catacombs. As he says, "You've defeated me, but what have you gained? Much deadlier things stir beneath us. They'll consume you all." Defeating him does not end his curse. His spirit reforms again and again, eternally bound to the ashes of Ascalon. In life, he refused to let go of his kingdom. In death, that refusal became his prison. Legacy of pride and ashes. Though Adelbern's reign ended in fire, his shadow still lingers over humanity. His actions destroyed Ascalon, yet also ensured that its memory would never be forgotten. To some, he is remembered as a tragic hero, a king who fought to the bitter end. To others, he is the man whose pride doomed his people to an eternity of suffering. Even in Destiny's reach, among the descendants of the refugees, his name is spoken both with sorrow and bitterness. A direct quote from one of the citizens. Rurik gave us a future. Adelbern gave us ghosts. And yet, Adelbern remains a cautionary tale, a reminder that pride, when untempered by wisdom, can destroy even the strongest kingdoms. Early Guild Wars novels such as The Ghosts of Ascalon expanded on Adelbern's Foefire, showing how adventurers centuries later still feared his lingering wrath. Was Adelbern a king who refused to yield to invaders? Or the tyrant that damned his people for eternity? And that's the story of King Adelbern. Commoner turned king, wielder of Magdaer, father of Prince Rurik, and the last ruler of Ascalon. His pride saved nothing, yet his fire shaped centuries of history. In life he lost his son, in death he lost his kingdom, but in legend Adelbern remains one of Tyria's most enduring figures, feared, pitied, and never forgotten. In Guild Wars, Adelbern's voice is credited to Bob Joles. Bob Joles is a veteran voice actor with many game credits. So what do you think of Adelbern's legacy? Was he a tragic hero who fought for his people? Or a king so blinded by pride that he destroyed everything he swore to protect? What would have happened if Prince Rurik would have stayed by his side? Our lantern fades for now, but the stories never end. Subscribe, and I'll see you when the next flame is lit. Want to see how Adelbern's legacy played out? Watch our Prince Rurik's video next.